And this is something that it really took me about 30 years, the 28 years I've been alive, to learn. When I was younger, as a lot of you will know, if you've listened to this podcast before, I came from a background in a family that didn't have a whole lot of money, right? We were pretty much bankrupt for my whole childhood, or at least the last part of my time living at home. We lived in a house that was beat up. The window on the front of our house was smashed for a good decade. So, you'd get the draft coming in from outside. My back garden, the grass in the back garden is about 6 foot high, and there are fridges and TV sets and all kinds of nonsense in there. In fact, the back half of my house was actually knocked down because I think at one point my mum thought we had the money to do a renovation, but we didn't have the money. So the builders just knocked the house down and just left it as a derelict house. So one of the doors, which used to go into one of the rooms would just actually take you outside. And we just removed the handle so that no one could really break into our house. The front of our house was the same. We had, the grass was, a good 1.5 meters high at times. And it was fairly embarrassing growing up as a black kid in an all-white school who already felt a little bit different with my curly hair, knowing that our house also looked so remarkably different, and that my life was remarkably different from a financial perspective. We didn't have Christmases and birthdays by the time I was about 10, 11 years old because of the financial situation we're in. And I know that it created a real deep insecurity within me. I remember Christmas days sat in my brother Kevin's room on the floor as we joked about the things we were going to pretend we got for Christmas. And I have to bring context to this, right? Like, I know now as an adult that this was a terribly naive, selfish, immature way to think. I know now that I should have been looking at all the things I did have, which was a loving family, 2 parents that were together and loved me, a roof over my head, food on the table. I know now that those were the important things. But back then, when you're a young little kid who doesn't really understand the world, you feel sorry for yourself. You engage in self-pity, and I did.